Hey everybody, and welcome back to another exciting episode of the VOD Squad, the show where we talk about streaming devices, content providers, pretty much anything that allows you to watch those things that you enjoy to watch. I am Clyde, and today I am joined by Matthew Ross.
Hey.
Michael Aston.
Hello.
And Jimmy's back.
Hello everybody.
How are you guys doing this week?
Good.
You guys sound excited.
Flew back in from Nashville, and boy, are my arms tired.
Oh, I bet.
I am also recovering from vacationitis, so yeah.
Yeah, and how was your trip? You guys went by car though, right?
No.
Oh, I was thinking you guys were driving around the country.
No, we had a family member pass away, and so we had to go to a funeral service in Florida that was not close enough to visit Jimmy, and he was he was off in Tennessee, right?
Yeah, I was up in Nashville.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
So no chance to. My wife is like, "Don't you have one of your friends down on that show down here in Florida?" And it's like, "Yeah, but he's not around."
I think the real answer was, "Yeah, but friend is a kind of a stretch."
No. I'd go hang with Jamie anytime. No problem.
Yeah. And next time you're down, man, let me know.
We weren't supposed to be back. We've just gone there last year. We weren't supposed to be back, but that's how the fate had changed our plans.
Yeah, so, that family stuff.
Yeah. It was a beautiful service, and we did get one day at the parks, and we did do one day of just doing nothing. So that was good.
All right. Well, rock on. Welcome back, everybody, and why don't we get right into it?
Okay. Right. We have news. It's amazing. It's wonderful. We're going to start with the story about Redbox and the fact that they've been talking about for a little while that we might be having some streaming service come out of them. And that news has kind of died up for a while. But we got a nice little report that comes to us from Cord Cutter News about a bit of poking around a certain website called MKVX Stream has been doing to the beta, and they have found out that there are several screenshots showing various new features available on an Android app for their streaming service, which means it's very likely we're going to be getting their streaming service available to us soon. In fact, we're hoping to have it very soon. It seems like that we may be getting something that we're working on many of the different devices, including Roku, Windows, Android, iOS devices, and prices might be very competitive for renting your shows, very much like they're competitive on the Redbox themselves.
That's interesting. I remember trying to use this back in the first iteration. Yeah. And it didn't work so well.
They did a early a program with Verizon, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
the article here brings up a good question about the prices for renting of movies, especially since it seems like the prices have all kind of stapled out to a cheap movie being $3.99 or maybe even $2.99. But that's still you get anything.
Even if you're paying Redbox prices,
mm-hmm.
It's a win-win. If you were gonna go to Redbox and get a DVD, now you don't have to leave the house. It's gonna cost you the same, but you're saving gas and effort and dealing with people. Because dealing with people is probably the worst thing about going to Redbox. And yeah, I mean it's not a bad deal. It's just a matter of whether or not people that would use a Redbox. A lot of people use Redbox just because it's the only place you can get a disc.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, and I don't think a lot of if that's your motivation, I don't think you're gonna really cross over to the streaming side. But rock on.
Well, I mean, the important questions to me would be, what kind of content are they going to get? So one of the advantages to a service like Redbox is that a lot of times you can get the DVDs a little bit quicker through Redbox than you can through, say, buying digital content or seeing digital content on some of those rental services. Now, rentals have kind of negated that. Digital rentals, you usually can rent those digitally at about the same time that you can find them on Redbox. But then there's the price thing, right? So as Matt was saying, digital rentals through like Amazon usually are about $4, $5 for a movie, and you get it for 48 hours or whatever. Compare that to Redbox, which was, I think it got to $2 for the Blu-rays and $1 for regular movies. So Redbox was cheaper, but it was digital, but it was a physical disc. You had to go in. And, as you're alluding to, the target demographic, right? Like people like me, I'm not going to a Redbox anymore. I'll pay twice as much to not have to leave my house and go deal with finding a Redbox and finding the right movie and all of that kind of stuff. But people that don't have a smart TV or don't have an Xbox One or an Android device that they can use, going in and picking something up that they can put in their existing DVD player or Blu-ray player is a huge advantage. So I don't know, this kind of misses on a few points to me, unless they can come in and consistently beat the price of like Amazon digital rentals and get them at the same time or earlier.
Well, so this begs the question: setting up a physical Redbox in a location with an internet connection so it can talk to the credit card company or telephone line, and somehow securing it and having physical discs and having all that's got to cost a lot of money in order to do that service, versus having a server somewhere, or even just using something like Amazon Cloud Services to stream some type of service with some type of content protection to make everybody, all the movie industry happy, to stream it to your box with an app. It seems a lot cheaper. So then why is the price difference? It's reversed. Why is it more expensive for the digital version, which should be all it costs you is bits, versus the physical version?
I don't think it is, though, because the thing is that, like, with those digital versions, they're generally paying like a right, as opposed to purchasing a disc at a specified rate and being able to reuse that disc. So with a physical box, those discs cost them money, and they pay a higher rate than a consumer goes out and buys a retail disc. But it's a much lower rate than, say, $2 every time it's viewed or $1 every time it's viewed, which is what Amazon is paying. They're paying a royalty every single time that movie is viewed. And then you add on all of those other things, like the bandwidth and all of that kind of stuff. That adds up. So I don't know that it's really... I think it's probably cheaper for Redbox per viewing than Amazon.
Well, the questions I have about this service is, what's going to be the fidelity? Is it just standard definition and maybe, 1080p? Are they planning on doing 4K?
You can
perhaps?
figure that pretty much anything that's coming out now is going to be HD. I don't think you can buy a standard definition copy of pretty much anything, right?
You can still get DVD versions.
Okay. Yeah, you can still get DVDs. They do still exist.
That seems so redundant. I mean, everything is, yeah.
Because another reason why I asked that, because Redbox is traditionally known for kind of like the cheapest service around, right? So is their streaming service going to do the same, right? I mean, are like, okay, we'll let you rent movies for $2 a movie, but it's only standard def, right?
That'd be fine. I'd be happy with that. And the fact that you're having to pay for the convenience of hosting their servers is fine. And I personally believe that it's going to be a lot cheaper for them to stream it over the internet than having the physical boxes. But maybe I'm wrong. That's possible. I'm open to that possibility. anyways, I'm very interested to find out what they end up with their pricing, and if the pricing is super competitive, hopefully they can break into the market. Hopefully they can kind of win over that lower end group who, their red boxes tend to be in front of grocery stores and Walmarts, and so that would be the place for them, the people for them to be truly trying to grab as their consumer. So definitely, I think they would make sense for them to go over their current market with that kind of a cheaper solution for other people. But that's what I think.
All right. Yeah, I agree. Sorry, I had to get up. The hurricane outside was hitting me through the windows. I had to close that window.
So let's assume this does fairly well. How long until there's a Redbox TV?
I don't know. That's an excellent question.
Well, if they can't get Redbox streaming anybody to use it, then I would say never.
Well, right. That's why I said assuming that it does well.
Oh, gotcha. I missed that.
Or if it does well.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean,
how long before they start picking up television shows, or how long until they start streaming live TV, or how long until they start producing their own television shows, a la Netflix and Amazon and such? Which one are you talking?
Some sort of hardware.
Okay, gotcha.
Partnership with Roku, partnership with TCL or Halpage, or
Okay, I foresee them partnering with somebody like Roku very quickly and saying, "Hey," and you're gonna, I'll consider that partnered with Roku officially when they release a Roku with a dedicated Redbox button.
Yeah,
I could see where that would benefit Redbox, but how would it benefit the other partner?
Roku? Because then they pay them for right to put a button on it,
if they get a chunk of the money every time it's rented, right,
or something like that.
That would add up pretty quick.
I suppose, but I mean, for example, if I'm watching Amazon, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I guess I need to think more about it, but
I mean, if the market's there, they'll do it. But if not, then I wouldn't hold my breath.
Yeah.
We'll see. It's a roll of the dice as far as I'm concerned.
But it does
My
sound
question
like
was ridiculous because that's a really huge assumption that it does well. The odds are against it at this point, I think.
I understand why you're being facetious by asking the question to begin with. But I do think it's going to be a good service. Another way to rent movies. Without having. The one good thing about this is that you can rent movies from a service like this, and you don't have to be bought into one of the ecosystems like you do with a lot of the others. Right?
Yep. Well, since we're talking about boxes, it's a good thing that anybody needs a new box out there. If they've been looking and waiting for a good solution, guess what? Roku has just recently announced a bunch of drop prices on many of their boxes, and now they've added to their list the Roku Streaming Stick. The newer version is now down to $40. What's great about this is the exact stick I took with me on my vacation, and it worked wonders because I could hand this over to family members, and they know how to use it without any help. And there's a remote, so it beat me the use of the Chromecast. Unfortunately, I love the Chromecast, but this is the better solution for anybody who needs to have that single remote. This is an excellent deal.
Yeah.
That is a good idea, for traveling. It would be a good solution for that, right?
Being small enough that you can fit into, I of course, I pack like a ton of different things with me. But this was just a little tiny spot in my pack for the Roku, the stick, and the charger brick for it. And plug it in, go.
The only thing I would suggest for traveling is get the Roku Express, the one that has the RCA cables. Because I've always traveled with either a Roku stick or a Fire TV stick in my bag, but there are times where you get to a hotel that there is no HDMI. As Mike saw at at CES, up until CES, I kept saying, why would anybody want that Express, until I was there and I went, oh, I'm going to go, and I went out and I bought one. and then I had Roku in the bedroom, but yeah, no, I travel with a Roku everywhere I go now. Now that I don't have to haul a Amazon stick.
Yeah, very cool. All right, moving on. We have a story about Sling TV. Sling TV has just announced a beta platform for the most important platform of all, the browser. In particular, they've made it a version of their platform that will work with Chrome. It works on, it looks like Windows, and I believe it works on the Mac as well. But the one thing is, the Windows had it before. If you had Windows 10, there was a dedicated Windows 10 app for Sling TV. But now it works with many more platforms, and will probably continue to work with additional platforms in the future, starting with Chrome.
I'm actually surprised that a lot of these tools are becoming very specific when it comes to browsers. Like, I tried that DirecTV service recently, and it won't even let me log into my account using Firefox. It says DirecTV is no longer compatible with Firefox. You must use Chrome.
Wow.
And I'm wondering because they say it now works with so Sling TV now works with Chrome. Does that mean that it's like DirecTV where you can't do anything on the other browsers?
My guess is yes, that are particularly speaking of in this announcement, that it's for Chrome, specific versions of Chrome, and very likely it uses some type of an extension or something else like that to make it work. What we're probably seeing here is the encryption. We're probably seeing content protection, and we're seeing some type of proprietary thing to make that happen, which means that they have to use something like that. They are not using HTML. HTML is now looking at a way of making an encryption a standard, but until then, this is what you got. You're going to have some type of proprietary thing, which sucks.
I suspect that this probably will work on other modern browsers with spotty support. Sorry about that, guys. I had to mute my phone. Yeah, because if there's no plugins and stuff like that, it probably is more just a JavaScript that takes advantage of advanced JavaScript features that are generally supported only in Chrome. And I mean, that's just a guess, but that would be a likely explanation. And you will probably get spotty coverage in Mozilla come and go, depending on what features it takes advantage of.
I wish that this was all HTML5. I wish it was all the standard. Everybody.
I mean, that makes me angry, because if you're telling me what browser I have to use, then I lose interest immediately. If I can't just, use it the way I want. So, all right.
Yeah. Like I said, it's probably got something to do with, like Matt was alluding, like the encryption algorithms and security. That while it's probably not baked in proprietary, it's probably not universally available across all of the browsers. Chrome is the most advanced. It gets the features the quickest as a general rule, and tends to have more kind of future-looking features and stuff. So,
and if you're doing something like this, it eats up all your resources the fastest too. Jumps to 100% utilization, which is why I don't use Chrome when I've got anything else running.
I don't know if I believe that, but
I don't have any problems.
Watch one of our movie parties a couple weeks ago. All I did was open up Chrome, and all of a sudden it's like at 98% utilization, and nothing else would run.
but when you ran it in Firefox, it was fine?
Oh yeah, I do everything in Firefox.
It's unusual, at least with my experience.
Yeah, it's like a known thing when using like OBS or the XSplit stuff like that. If you open up Chrome, it just like kills your computer, and Chrome just like goes crazy and starts. You can watch, if you have the resource monitor open, you can watch Chrome just like incrementally increasing utilization until you kill it. But
Yeah.
Word. All right.
So, you guys hear about Apple? Apple's dropping some cash.
Well, isn't that what they do? They just flash that cash all over
They
town.
do.
They
It's
make
just
it
they've got
rain.
They decided to take a little bit of that cash they got, some of that Apple money, and they went ahead and said, "Hey, I'll send out $1 billion to go out to Hollywood, and we're gonna buy 10 TV shows to go somehow on Apple services."
What?
It looks like Apple has decided to open up their wallets in order to try to increase their current running of shows, which of course are right now. What are the shows? What's that app show?
Planet of the Apps.
Yeah,
Planet of the
And
Apps.
that's it.
and well, they also do a version of the car karaoke.
Oh,
Carpool
that's
karaoke.
right.
Carpool karaoke.
Yeah.
Right now, that's all they've been doing, and now it looks like they're ready to put a little bit of money behind what they're doing and try to actually get some real content.
They're finally admitting that they can't create the content on their own. They have to just buy it.
I don't know, but they have the money, and apparently, from what I've been hearing, this $1 billion is actually not that much money compared to some of the other places that are spending money. Apparently, like HBO is spending a lot more, and Hulu's spending more, and I believe Netflix is like up to $6 billion or something like that. I don't know. No, it's a huge amount of money. So, but they're getting there. They're getting going. They're going to start. Which
yeah, I mean, while those other companies are spending more money, that's a lot of shows. Where if you're talking 10 shows for $1 billion, that's $100 million a show. And depending on what they're talking about, if they're talking about 1 year, that's a lot of money. If they're talking about, oh, this is the extent of what we're going to spend and see how that happens, well, maybe it's not so much money, but presumably they're talking about a season, 10 shows and 1 season each. That is a pretty significant chunk of money per show. As they indicate in the article, that's like 10 Game of Thrones level shows. Right. And I mean, Game of Thrones is a very expensive show to produce. It's got a lot of actors, a lot of special effects.
Sure.
And so 10 shows like that is pretty significant, but it is an interesting question, because is that enough, right? 10 shows is not much to build a whole streaming service around.
Yeah, I agree with that, but I think, I don't know, and I kind of was thinking along the same lines there, Mike, and what I think it is, I think it's more of a platform play for them, right? I think they want to get just enough good quality shows to attract people to the platform, not so much trying to build completely out a full content offering, right? So, you get 10 $100 million shows on there, along with all the other streaming apps. And, oh, by the way, we got this iTunes store here, too, where you can, buy and rent content as well, right? Mm-hmm. So I think that's what it is. I think it's more of a platform play for them. And I think it's kind of, and Matt's right. I mean, they're not spending the most, but, HBO.
They're getting started.
Yeah, they're just getting started, and HBO is, already double what they're spending. Netflix is six times. Hulu's even spending more than they are.
But again, look at the count of shows that you're talking about, right? I mean, those are the number of shows Netflix and HBO are producing for that money is significantly more. The other thing I would be interested in, or I'm interested in related to this, is the kind of the strategy behind it. As you're kind of alluding, is this a platform play? Well, the pricing will make a big difference in how you consume these. I'm certainly willing to pay a few bucks a month per show, right? Or maybe $10 a month for a service, and I pay for Netflix and I watch a few TV shows on Netflix consistently. My wife watches maybe one or two as well. So I think like cumulative, we probably watch in a year a total of 6 TV seasons of TV through Netflix. That's not a lot, and that's probably significantly less than most people do. But I'm willing to pay 10 or 12 bucks or whatever for that. And similar to Hulu, I pay for Hulu for 3 shows a year. Now I only pay for 1 season. I only pay during the summer, and the rest of the year I don't subscribe to them. But if it's good content, it'll bring me to the platform. I'm not one that's ever going to pick up anything else from Apple because I'm kind of biased against them.
Except for your MacBook.
My work provides that. I would throw that thing in a second.
Oh, okay.
The old MacBook, I was starting to like. The new one, no. I'd go to a Windows PC in a second if I could. New MacBook is good.
The question is, let's say they make 10 shows, and let's say 2 of them are good and 1 of them is like really good. All right, am I willing to? How are they going to provide those shows out to the people? Or is it going to be something you have to have some subscription to an Apple service to watch?
You'll have to have an Apple device. They don't allow anything.
Apple device only, or is it going to only work on something that works with iTunes, which does include Android? But
I think it's going to be. I think it's going to be part of the Apple Music subscription. Is what it's going to be.
So you can watch it on your Windows PC.
You get those 10 shows, plus maybe they might throw a couple, like, Planet of the Apps or something like that.
Do you have to pay for that now? The Planet of the Apps, or is it included?
It's part of the Apple Music subscription.
Yeah,
gotcha.
But then you get all the music streaming as well along with it, right? So
I agree with you mostly. I bet that they charge a $3 or $4 up fee to go to music and video. Maybe even as little as 2. But I think that it'll be part of the music subscription. It'll just be like add video for $2 a month or something like that.
Well, if I don't have an Apple TV and I want to watch it on the big screen, what are my options?
You don't have one.
Okay, so it has to be
Apple
a
TV.
really good show to convince me.
Yes,
really good.
Yeah, you can spend $150 and buy an Apple TV and to watch that 1 or 2 things. See, and that's the boat I'm in. No matter how good the programming is, if it's stuck within the Apple ecosystem and I have to buy a device specifically to watch it, I'm not going to do it.
Yeah, short of getting the Wheel of Time or Dragonlance on there or something like that, there's no chance I'm going.
They have don't they have Apple Music on Android?
Phone,
they do,
maybe,
but
not Android TV.
I think so.
Not Android TV.
Well, couldn't you put it on your Android phone and Chromecast it to your television?
It works okay, but not as well as you'd like. And do you do that with your Apple device very often? Maybe you do. I don't know.
You mean Airstream it?
Airstream, yeah, AirPlay.
AirPlay it to there, yeah. Not too often.
Right.
Well, Apple. I can get Apple Music on my phone. If it was available on my phone and they had a good show, I would do that. Even if I had to watch it on my phone, I'd probably do it because, small screen or a tablet, that's not the end of the world, especially if it's a good show.
I just don't. I would not. I don't watch anything on small screens. So even watching it on my computer is like, ugh.
So this is a big moment for Apple. Apple makes the decision right here. Are we going to let it all out and let it outside of our ecosystem, or are they going to be stubborn and keep it within their own? If they choose to be stubborn and keep it in their own, they need hits. They need these awesome shows in order to make this work for them. If they're okay shows or crap shows like the current ones they've got, I'm not going to do anything for them. Sorry, Apple. I don't think so. It has to be real good shows for people to really buy into it. Otherwise, if they did go past, go beyond their walls and maybe let you rent something on some other service, or maybe, I don't know. it's possible that this could be good for Apple in a different way. They could be a good deal. I don't know.
Well, I mean, I still think it's a platform play. I mean, I think it's a valid point what you make, Matt. But I think it's just a platform play to say, hey, you can watch all the other content on an Apple TV.
Yeah.
And then you can also get these 10 shows that we spent all the money for as well.
Yeah, I mean,
right?
and Microsoft did the same exact thing with their customized content for the Xbox One. It didn't work out very well for them, and it lasted all of a couple months before they killed it. But yeah, I mean, it's a play to get you onto their hardware, and for some people it's going to work, and for some people it's going to be great. I'm not interested.
Yeah, that's why I'd be suspicious if the video would be available via the Apple Music app on an Android device. I suspect that if they go the Apple Music route, unless they charge a noticeable upgrade fee, I expect it will only be available on Apple TV.
Yep.
Or
We'll see.
other Apple devices. Let's guess, though.
Oh, hey, maybe I should do breaking news here.
Uh-oh.
I got in trouble last
What
time
do you
I did
got?
breaking news.
Do it.
I'll put it into.
Joe Munn said that the Apple product got recalled
I'll put it
for
into
listeria.
I just put it into the chat room.
Okay.
Oh my goodness.
Again?
Yeah.
Oh no.
Well, I mean that gets you around paying for it.
Well,
right?
you're still paying. You have to pay for 2 months up front of Google TV, or DirecTV.
3 months.
Yep.
How would that work if you paid for 2 months of Google TV and you got a free Apple TV?
Hey, you can watch Google Play on your Apple. Works just fine.
Oh yeah, no, because Google doesn't care where you watch it as long as you
everywhere.
watch it.
You don't care.
Yeah.
Just go everywhere.
Well, that's because they don't really. Yeah, they don't make a device. They make the Chromecast,
They make
right?
one device, little device.
This has a tie-in to my rant, so I'll.
I might actually consider this because it has a tie into my rant too. Because this deal wasn't there a week ago when I started my trial, and because they were offering a Roku Premier, which is kind of the one that's slightly less than my current Roku 4. And I was like, why would I pay 2 months up front to get that? It's good for some people, but yeah, all right. All right, what did we have last?
Oh, we have one more piece of Apple news, which is the fact that they have partnered with ESPN to now make it possible for you to stream 4 streams of football at the same time on your Apple TV. It does some pretty cool things, like it's able to mute the audio from many of the streams and able to, automatically supposedly pick up when something important is happening on one of them in order to automatically turn on the volume for that one. So you can actually keep your it's got many different formats up for the layout of the shows. And so you can have more than just, you can 1, 2, 3, or 4 streams in various formats. And it's I don't know how it's going to be. They're going to work with. ESPN doesn't have all that many of the big football games on at the same time, but a lot of the college games are on there. So this could be fun for a big football fan who just loves their football. So,
see, if you like the experience of sitting in a bar where there's too many screens with too many things to really know what's going on, now you can have it all on one screen.
I have to admit, though, this might be worth trying.
You don't have to get whiplash.
This might be worth trying.
Isn't that what
I don't know if I'd want
here?
to. Go ahead.
Ultimately,
Go ahead, Mike.
isn't that what we're trying for here?
Oh no,
Right?
no, that's already available on the current Diamond Club TV.
This is true, but we're doing it in stream. So you could have, if there were other shows like us, you could have, 16 people all talking at the same time on your screen. That would be pretty awesome. We're giving you 4 shows in one. You
Except for
could
last
look
week.
at it that way.
Touche.
I don't know.
4 shows for the price of zero. Never mind.
What is the ESPN subscription? What's the price on that? Anybody remember?
I do not know.
Wasn't it like 25 or something?
Something like that.
How about it, Joke Man? You know everything, right?
He does know everything. He's on top of it. Requires Flash Player, and I don't use Flash Player.
How about Shockwave?
No.
Bring back Shockwave.
Hey, yeah, Shockwave is cool. I like Shockwave. I had no problem with Shockwave.
No, it was great. Macromedia at its best.
Jokeman does not. I'm not seeing any information on the cost for ESPN streaming. So it's one of the ESPN app.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I don't know. Well, I'm sorry, I don't have that information for you guys.
Just was curious because I might actually give us a try come football season.
It looks like almost a year ago, ESPN announced that its subscribers could stream the service under a package deal for $20 a month through Sling TV. So that's a Sling deal, but
Yeah,
that's not
but-
what we're talking about here. So
I think they got the standalone service as well, but I can't
It's
remember.
Watch ESPN, right?
Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm looking at their site, and I don't see a price, so.
nope. So
All right.
Oh, well. Word.
so
But-
that
Well,
is our
when I subscribe, I'll let you know.
Okay.
okay. That is our week's news.
Yeah, and speaking of that, we several times we brought up Apple streaming, video. We talked about a little bit about DirecTV and Sling TV, which all of these programs, all of these offerings are now fighting over this cloud DVR, and wonder. Do people have a preference when it comes to on demand versus DVR, whether it be hardware or cloud based? What do you guys think?
I know for a fact there's a bunch of people out there who are hardcore. I'd rather own the content than have to stream for the content kind of. Now they're willing to pay a streaming month to month, but they also look at every single streaming service and go, that could go away at a moment's notice. And so they want to have a lot of their content on their own service somewhere where they can access it. So those kind of people want to have that physical DVR and somehow have the data in their hands somehow. So there are people who I definitely feel like that's the way to go. People who love their TiVos. I know you do. So they know it's with them. They can take it with them wherever they go. Many people who have their satellite services that had those had the built-in DVRs. I know I was one of them. But I moved from one house to another a couple of times. That took our DVR with us, and even when I had to upgrade my DVR on my old system, I was able to plug an external hard drive, transfer all my stuff to the hard drive, then plug it into the new system, transfer it all back. It was kind of nice. So yes, there is a market for people who really want to keep their own stuff. The question is, how can they do it nowadays in this world of streaming?
Well, I mean, a lot of the streaming services either have a cloud DVR or they're working on it, gonna provide it eventually. That is like the key feature that everybody wants right now. And I mean, the thing I wondered about is there really a benefit to the DVR as opposed to just having the same content available on demand? If you have both in front of you, which would you use and why?
Yeah, I know for me personally, I would use the on demand, and not the DVR because, it takes more planning, right? You got to plan out the schedule. Yeah, record all these shows, this season or whatever. I'd prefer to just go through the on demand and like, oh, here's a show, right?
Well,
and then all the episodes are there, right?
Most
and
of the
you just watch it
services-
at your leisure.
Most
right?
of the services don't require planning. because as you go through, you just click, oh, I like this show. If you like the show, then it automatically DVRs it for you.
One,
good.
Yeah, that's one of the things that I really love about PlayStation View is that I just go in and I say, I like this show, I like this show, I like this show. I haven't gotten to a maximum number of favorited shows, and I've probably got a couple of dozen favorited. I don't know. I mean, I don't favorite a whole lot, but haven't gotten to a maximum, and it records, right? Like, it doesn't really record anything, but it gives me access to those shows for 28 days. So it makes it super easy for me to get the content that I want and find what I need. And I love that feature. Now, has it bitten me a couple of times? Yeah. When I went on vacation for 2 weeks, I was a week behind on a couple of shows. And then I got back and I didn't get back to TV for a week because I was working a little bit longer and stuff like that to make up for, vacation. And so then I missed a show because it rolled out of that 28-day period. And so I couldn't see that particular episode. Now, it wasn't a big deal. It didn't really affect me, but that does show one of the weaknesses to that system. Super easy to get the content you want as long as you kind of keep on top of it. But if you let it slip a little bit, so that was the advantage of the old DVR system, like Matt indicated. You can keep a show on there, or whole seasons of shows for years. And I had done that.
As we've talked about before, on my TiVo, there is one show that's been on there since at least 2008, just because I can't bring myself to delete it. Or 2010, or whenever I got this, but this model. But the thing is, what you describe about the potential of not being able to watch it, you run into that same thing with on demand as well, especially if you're using a service like AMC's Now or FX Now, where they don't give you all the content and they give you an artificial limit. DVR gives you 28 days to watch it. That in some cases, that might be longer than you actually have to watch it on AMC, where they only let you watch some shows like the past 2 weeks, So I think that right now the biggest benefit to both of them is on demand doesn't require planning, as Jimmy said. You don't have to go in and say, okay, I like this show, and set it up to record. But you can't fast forward through commercials, whereas DVR, you can. And then stunned silence. But
well, no, I'm just thinking because I've got the Hulu Live television, and you get when you subscribe to that, you get more on-demand content, and I pay a little extra to have it commercial free. So
yes, you can do that. But when you're talking about Sling TV or PlayStation View, DirecTV Now, the on-demand through there is just like going to the AMC app or the FX app or the Sci-Fi app. You have no control. You have to sit there and watch those commercials. And sometimes if you rewind, you have to sit there and watch those commercials again. And that drives me nuts because I do use commercial.
At least they give you a little discount. At least you get a little discount with those commercials, right?
Right. But yeah. So
one of the things that Scottus brings up is that one of the weaknesses, and this is actually a weakness with both types of DVRs, is long-running shows. So, this happened to me with one of the football games where I told it to record the football game. The show ran over, and then it missed the last half. Now, I was fortunately watching it fairly live, and PlayStation View has a catch-up feature, so you can watch a show that you didn't record you can't fast forward through commercials and stuff, but it lets you watch a show that aired like earlier today or late yesterday, and you just have to watch the commercials. You can't fast forward and stuff. So I was able to catch the rest of the football game that way, but that's definitely shows a weakness in that model. And with the old DVR system, you could schedule a show to always record 5 minutes more or 30 minutes more. So like if you put college football on your DVR and said record an extra hour, you'd probably be okay for most games. Whereas the cloud DVR doesn't offer that. You simply can, at least on PlayStation View, you favorite your show and that's it. You can't give it any additional parameters like this is my favorite show and record 15 minutes afterwards, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I thought that some of those new cloud DVRs are getting better about that, because with hardware-based DVR like I've got here, my TiVo, it's limited based on the number of inputs. So it's got 4 tuners. It can only record 4 things. Whereas with digital DVRs, it's not actually recording it on your device. So even if a device, even if they're not there yet, I think they're getting better at just recording until the end of the thing. Which I've been wondering what happens when like stuff gets preempted. Because like on terrestrial TV, you'll get, stand by for a message from the President of the United States.
Right.
Does that stuff happen on the direct to you from the provider stations now?
If it's a live feed, you probably would be. But if it's some type of on demand,
Seeing that, yeah, that's another benefit. See, and I've been very bullish for years. I've got my TiVo, and I've maintained my TiVo, and I want it. The thing is, I'm now at the point where I literally launched it last week just to see what was currently on there, and there was only one thing on my TiVo right now, and that's that show, that episode of Good Eats from like 7 to 8 years ago.
What's the episode? Gotta know.
It's Feelin' Punchy, the one about making the pirate punch. Yeah, and so I actually, for the first time, because I've got everything I need through Hulu and whatever, I was like, well, I may disconnect that. But then I realized I need to get up and walk over there and start moving cables. And so it's still there, and it's probably going to be there for a few more months. Maybe I'll get around to unplugging the power. But yeah, I mean, I don't see the need for a DVR personally anymore, just because of the stuff I need is available through other means. On demand, I watch it when I want. I don't know when stuff is on. I don't care when stuff is on. I just sit down and say, what can I watch?
And I agree with Joltman. The irony in Poodle Puncher keeping a show about making punch.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially since it's made with a whole bunch of ingredients that I would never drink in the first place. So, lots of rums and brandies and... But yeah, but like I said, this is one thing where there is it's really a divisive topic where there are people bullish on either side saying DVRs are terrible or on demand is too restrictive. But I guess your use case.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it comes down to the Netflix model. I just like that model better.
Mm-hmm.
Well, here's my thing. I would be all for physical DVRs if it wasn't for the space constraints that are artificially put on them, right? They put abnormally small hard drives considering the availability at this point in time.
Mhm.
Well, that wasn't the case with TiVo, though.
Well, no, not with TiVo, but with what you get from like cable companies and stuff like that.
Yeah, because their budget, they're putting out an offering based on a cost model, so they're going to give you the least they possibly can to keep you from like revolting.
But they have. I mean, Matt mentioned that he was able to offload that data, which is impressive because all of the other DVRs that I've seen, and maybe it was a TiVo, but all of the other DVRs that I've utilized from cable providers and stuff, they turn off every conceivable port. Now you could get into them physically, hack into them, and rip the drive out and do a bitwise copy of the drive, but that was literally about all you could do in order to get the data off of those.
TiVo has allowed you to offload your data onto a local PC since like 2007. You required special software to play it back because it's encoded.
Yeah,
but
right.
you could if you wanted to.
Now, I could be remembering it wrong, but I do know you can plug an external hard drive into your dish receiver and make your videos appear on that. Now, maybe it's formatted in the way I can't move it to another receiver.
Most likely.
Probably, but I seem to remember that we did do an upgrade, and I think we were able to save our stuff. But you guys were talking about, you guys are considering on demand is what you like. I prefer the TiVo, the DVR version of everything because I can always skip commercials.
Exactly.
I understand that being able to have like a pure copy or something like that, or no interruptions, or Mr. Show, you're not going to get that kind of a recording of I don't think you can get a on-demand version of a NFL broadcast or something like that. Maybe you can get something like the Oscars. They might do an on-demand of that, but if I can start the show, hit pause, walk away for 30 minutes, come back, and then start the show again and continue, skip every commercial along the way, we'll do that. That's the way to watch.
With PlayStation View, like a number of the shows that I like to watch, like Beat Bobby Flay is a Food Network show that I enjoy watching, and that one allows you to do on demand, and there are no commercials at all. Mm-hmm. So right there, I select on demand, and it completely skips all of the commercials for me. So now I don't even have to hit the skip or the fast forward or anything like that. It's just they're gone. So I like that feature. You can't fast forward, but what's the point when you don't even have commercials anyways? So.
Yeah. No, and I should clarify that I wouldn't DVR most shows, or I was DVRing everything over the air, and then just for the off chance that I couldn't get it on Hulu. But all of the shows I can get on Hulu on demand without commercials, they just sat on my DVR, and I wasn't touching it. I wasn't touching my TiVo because I didn't have to fast forward through commercials. But if I'm using like a PlayStation View or Sling or something that like that with a cloud DVR, if that content is not available on Hulu or commercial free, then yes, I would probably opt towards the DVR version to fast forward, because some of those tools like AMC and Sci-Fi, sitting through those commercials is painful. Especially if you got headphones on and the audio is all over the place and blasting your eardrums. But yeah, so I think that's where I stand. I think they both have merits depending on your viewing situation, but they also have drawbacks.
Yeah, agreed.
I would say, my personal opinion, I'm partial to cloud DVRs, though they definitely have some disadvantages that I would love to see go away.
If views of DVR went past the 28 days, I'd be much more bullish about it. even if it was 48 days, it was twice as long.
Yeah, if PlayStation View would let me save my episode of Good Eats for the next 10 years, then I might consider it. But
So that episode of Good Eats is available for $1.99.
I don't. It was just I never got around to deleting it. And then it's one of those things that it's been around for so long, then you're like, I'll leave it alone. It's not hurting.
For $1.99, you can have it. And
I have never rewatched it since that original viewing. It's just been living on my TiVo. It's like the guy that pitched a tent in your backyard and then you just didn't bother kicking him out, and then several years down the road, you're just like, he's always been there.
Oh, come on. How long you're going to hold on to this TiVo for then? I mean,
oh no, the TiVo is probably going away.
Okay.
I looked today at how much they're still going for on eBay with the lifetime forever license.
Yeah,
and
how
I
much
was
money
like,
are you gonna play?
Yeah, I think it's time because I still have the original box and everything. So
Nice.
I just need to get around to
$200,
wiping it.
$300?
Something like that.
Yeah, do that. Especially if you don't use it anymore. You can pay for your TV for several years.
Well, I have two. I technically still have two TiVos. I still have the TiVo HD that I keep threatening to send to you.
Right.
This TiVo Premiere. But I don't
actually,
have
the other thing I wanted to mention was the fact that this new cloud DVR / just DVR with your own solution using Plex. I took my little external hard drive with me on our trip. I was able to watch movies on the plane. I was able to take that and plug it in at our place, and people were able to watch movies off of it. It was wonderful. And now that I'm looking at what would be required for me to buy an adapter, plug it into either my HD antenna or buy a different box and plug it into my cable with the cable card, I can actually record whatever I can get off of that thing, and it's going to work great. I'm seriously considering moving forward with that because it has been wonderful, that little box. So, right, if you want to do it the easy way, the Plex the easy way, buy a compatible NAS. It doesn't matter if it's a single hard drive NAS. I mean, if one of their drives die, it dies. But it will work wonders for you. Consider that as an option.
Yep. Rock on. Well, were there any thoughts before we move on to rants and raves?
I'm sorry, did you say what I thought you said?
Were there any further thoughts before we move on to rants and raves?
Okay, that was correct. I heard something else.
All right.
Something much worse.
All right. With that out of our systems, who's got something to rant? Who's got something to rave?
I got something to rave.
All right.
I am starting to shop 4K televisions.
All right.
Okay.
Just this past weekend, I was comparing the LG OLED television to the Samsung QLED television.
Okay.
I was going to say, we know that 4K is not good enough for the Trammell household. You should be looking at the 8K televisions.
But one thing that I had just about made up my mind that, I want to go with the LG OLED television. But then I got to looking at the Samsung QLED. And the one thing that one advantage that they have with the Samsungs is that, if you get some content that's not 4K, let's say it's, 1080p, right? Well, with the LGs, they'll just double, scale it up 2 times, right?
Mm-hmm.
But with the QLED, it's got the ability to scale it up 4 times, 4 dots per 1 dot of resolution, right? So you can actually, for streaming content, that would be better. Right, because most streaming content only goes up to about 1080p anyway, right? So, so now I don't know. Now I'm trying to sit there and decide between which one do I want to go for, because both have good merits. One one seems to have maybe just a little better screen, and the other one can scale up a little better, right?
Have you seen both of them in person?
I have.
Okay, well that's the secret sauce. You will have to decide from something that you see in person, because everything you read doesn't matter. Everything you read about these new technologies, whether they are some of the, what was it, Sharp came out with the one with the yellow dots and
Oh yeah, it was the
all that.
quad. Yeah, the fourth color. We added yellow. It's like, why? Doesn't do
Exactly.
anything.
Look at the screens.
You could make yellow with the other.
It was.
three,
It
right?
was. That was the only way they could get Takei to say "Oh my" on TV.
I remember that. Anyways, but no, you're going to make a decision based on what you see, and if you could see a big enough difference, if it's worth it for you, go for it. Be sold on what you see. Be sold on what you have. Don't, it's all marketing speak at that point when you're getting up to those big fancy options out there. So
The only thing, what I would really like to do, of course, I mean, where can you see this, like at a Best Buy or whatever, right? Is say, hey, let's see how this TV performs with streaming content, because they really don't have that. They just have the same things rolling through there at the TV shops, right? Yeah. But and they got the brightness turned up to the max and all that kind of thing, right? So, so if there was a way that I could actually view the streaming content on one of these things, I think that might help make a difference.
Now here's what you should do. If you've got a Best Buy near you, if they still have the Magnolia viewing room,
they do.
You can ask them to hook up pretty much anything in those rooms, and they'll typically do it if it means you're going to buy it there. Because then you've got a chance to see it under a normal living condition, as opposed to
Oh my goodness, you're in the Magnolia room. Oh, you must be really happy with your decision here. Oh, we will make sure you have whatever you need.
Hey, I mean, my TV I have downstairs now, I bought it back in 2008, and so it's about time. It's about time for an upgrade.
The two things I would say are personal preference would be to the OLEDs. Mm-hmm. That's purely biased. I think that they are better looking and overall just richer TVs. Second thing would be check Costco. If you have a Costco that's convenient to you, they tend to have really good prices on the higher end stuff. And the one by us has the LG OLED 65 inch and the QLED 65 inch. And
that's the sizes I'm looking at, is the 65 inch. Yeah.
So just worth taking a quick look. I not only are the prices usually very competitive at Costco, but they have a pretty good return and service function. And like on my TV, when I bought it there, it went down by like $140 like 8 weeks later. We just went up to the desk and said, "Hey, this is cheaper," and they just gave us $180 cash right there.
This is at Costco.
Yeah, they give you a refund of any price difference that changes on the product within their return period, which is like 90 days.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
cool. So it was pretty cool because it was like $180. We went and bought my daughter a tablet and didn't spend any more money than we already had.
Wow.
Nice.
And Costco is awesome. I agree.
There's a little bit of a rant for you, a rave for you, but I've got a rant coming out.
And Joe, man, maybe I should wait for the SLED television.
The pixels just slide along.
It goes downhill.
I think that's what you do with your old TVs. We used to do that with old satellite dishes, those big fiberglass ones. All right. Hey, I'll pipe in. So as I talked about a little bit earlier, over the weekend I took the plunge and decided to do the trial of DirecTV.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know. I don't know what I think. I'm reconfirmed that live TV streaming over the internet is not for me.
Right.
Because, yeah, I don't sit down and,
Mm-hmm.
at the right times to watch stuff.
Right.
But it's interesting, which is why I was proposing to you guys that maybe we consider that for the next. It's been a while since we did a 30-day trial, and I've only used it on the Roku so far. I don't want to say too much about it because I don't want to cloud anybody else's judgment with overly positive or overly negative statements.
Because you want us to do the 30-day challenge, don't you?
Kind of, yeah. But it's better. I will say it's better than I expected.
Okay.
I expected from, the stuff that I've heard over the last how many months that it's been available, big steaming pile. It's not. And for like Mike likes PlayStation View, I'm curious. Each person has a different perspective on this one, I think, because I know Mike likes PlayStation View. So is this one enough to get him to change?
Yeah.
And I subscribe to the Hulu.
Yeah,
Live,
you've got the Hulu
right?
Live. I'm not subscribing to any of them, and I don't know. I might keep it around, mainly just because I did find out I don't get it for free with my unlimited plan, but I do get it for $25 off, so it would cost me $10 a month. So now that's at the price where I go, $10 a month, I'm not. I don't think I would sign up for it at this point for 50 or 30 for the base packet, but. Yeah. So I don't know if you guys if you guys are interested, we probably start that here and do it through September.
Which unlimited deal do you have?
There's two. There's the ultimate one that's like gives you unlimited high speed data. I've got the one that's just right below it, which is unlimited 3 gigabit per second or 3 megabit per second data.
Okay, so you're not on the old, ancient, original unlimited plan.
No, I had to upgrade recently to add.
You had to
because I added my daughters. When you add 2 daughters onto your plan with and you've got 2 megs or 2 gigs of shared data, that don't work so well. So
okay, well, so my wife is still on the old, original iPhone unlimited plan.
Okay.
Oh,
and so
really?
maybe
Wow.
I'm going to find out if we do this. We're going to find out if I can get this on a reduced price as well.
Well, the problem is, in order to get the reduced price, the reduced price doesn't kick in until you've been subscribed for like 3 months. AT&T's gotten really good at, hey, we'll give you this after, like, buy 2 phones, you get 1 free. After you've made 4 payments on time without not a day late. They found their wiggle room. But
we've been paying for that unlimited phone for like 7 years or something like that. So
yeah.
I'll talk. We'll see.
But
maybe
in the case that that you do that, then if you just pay for even if you don't like the service, if you want that discount, you could pay for 2 months up front, get the free Apple TV or the Roku, whatever you're getting at that time. Okay. And then that should probably be enough to trigger the discount the next month for $10. So
we'll see. Maybe I think it's 3 months is what the deal is for the Apple TV. Just so you know.
Oh, okay. Because I know it was 2 months for the Roku.
This is cheaper.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
All right.
So, if you have to pay 3 months for the Apple TV, then it's 3 months before the discount kicks in. So, once you get to the end of that 3 months, you've got your discounted AT&T service. So,
we'll see.
Is that only for the cell service that you get the discount? What if you're an internet service?
I don't
subscriber?
know. I don't know how that works because they might have a deal, but I don't have an AT&T internet, so I don't know anything about their offerings. I would assume they would probably, because AT&T is pushing it on all their services as hard as they can. So, yeah, it might be worth looking into. But
yeah, I will. I'll look into that.
Yeah. All right. Anybody else?
Yeah. So I'm willing to give this a try, though it would have to be the most phenomenal service that has ever been made for me to continue. And here's why. So I've said 100 times, and not really 100, but at least 5 different times in my life, I will never deal with AT&T again in my life. And so that happened to me again today. I talked to you guys a couple weeks ago. I switched over to AT&T for internet service. Mm-hmm. They were going to give me faster speeds and stuff like that. I was having some minor issues with Spectrum's internet cutting out on occasion, and being down maybe 10 minutes every day at various times, and that was annoying enough that I was like, okay, fine. AT&T's trying to sell me this. I'll give it a shot. I was on their service about 3 weeks, I think, and it was okay. I never got the 75 megabits per second that they promised me. It was closer to 25 to 30. And it was, it did cut out occasionally. So my computers would disconnect from their modem or lose internet. They stayed connected to the modem, but lost internet.
Oh, I know.
Multiple times a day basis. So, just for 2 or 3 minutes, but that's annoying as all heck, especially when you're trying to watch a show or you're trying to work or something. Mm-hmm. So that was an annoyance. Then I get my bill for $148 or something like that. It was supposed to be $50 a month. They wanted to charge me $65. B, they told me there would be no installation fee, and they were charging me $100 installation fee. So I got them on the phone. They were willing to give me the installation fee free after an hour and a half on the phone, or my wife did this. But they were not willing to concede on the price, the monthly price, despite what they had told me. What their salesperson had promised me, and I had in writing, but wouldn't do it. So I canceled on the spot right then and there, and called Time Warner back up, and I said, I still have my modem plugged into my cable. Can I get my internet going today? Because otherwise I won't be able to get on my podcast tonight. And so Time Warner says, okay, here's your rate, blah, 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 blah. Tried to charge me a lot of money, and I was like, no, I want the one I see on your website. Oh, all right, fine, you can have that. And then switched me over to the internet people. I was back online, had internet within 30 minutes. And so long story short, well, long story actually still long at this point. I said to my wife, I said, why do I ever do this? I always say I'm never going to deal with AT&T again, and then I capitulate and go ahead and join them for whatever reason. So I'll give it a shot, but this will have to be leaps and bounds better than anything I've ever experienced in my life TV related before I will stick with them.
I have a similar situation, but with rotary powered or rotary engines. And as I explain to people, owning a rotary engine is a lot. It can only be described as an abusive relationship. Yet, like you and AT&T, I keep saying never again, never again. But if you look out the window, there's another RX-8 in my driveway. So,
but you like,
hey, Mike, I'm curious. What kind of internet service was that? Was that fiber?
No. So funny thing, the the person that tried to sell me my internet service for AT&T was one of those door-to-door people.
That was your first mistake.
Yeah, there was my first mistake. She said it was fiber, and I just totally dismissed that right off the bat because fiber is not 75 megabits per second.
It can be. I'm getting 45
yeah,
through my fiber just because I chose 45.
Pretty crappy fiber.
No, I can get up to a gig. I just don't want to pay for a full gig. I'm only willing to pay for the 45.50.
Well, they said here the maximum I could get was 75.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that.
And that's why I was like,
oh,
you obviously don't have fiber here if you can't give me more than 75 megabits per second.
yes.
But
I see what it is. So I think, yeah, because say I've looked at this before, and that's the old Uverse system that they're giving you, right? Which the max was 75 meg.
Yeah, Uverse.
Right?
Yeah. That's horrible.
I've got the newer system, which is the gigabit fiber, and that's what I have to say it's worked really well. Matter of fact, you got me thinking about, okay, let me measure right now while I'm broadcasting on this podcast what kind of data rates I can get. And I get like about 810 meg download and a little over 900 upload, right?
Right.
Stop showing off.
And that's that's gigabit fiber, and I only pay like, including tax, I only pay like $87 a month for that.
I'd be all on board that. I'm only paying with Time Warner. I'll be paying $50 a month, but for 100, and so that's great. But
not terrible. That's pretty good.
Yeah, I'll be fine with that. That's better than I've had, because before, when I was with Time Warner, I was only getting 40 megabits per second for that speed, for that price. But that was because that was a contract that I signed before Spectrum bought them. And so now with Spectrum, they don't even offer anything less than 100. Same rate, much faster internet.
Nice.
Right.
So we'll see. Hopefully the system will work, but at least I won't feel like I'm being lied to and cheated by the customer or by the company that I'm paying to provide me a service that they're not providing.
Yeah,
at least not in the way they're telling me they are.
And let that be a lesson to anybody that's listening. Don't go for the Uverse service with AT&T.
Yeah, don't sign up with a person that's door to door. And I should have known better than that, but I did talk to an AT&T person on the phone to confirm while they were there. So it's not like I was just taking their word for it. But the package that they offered wasn't actually a valid package. That was the price that I would get if I had bundled TV with it as well, which I wasn't doing, obviously. So anyway, customer service with AT&T is not great, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Which is an opinion, but it's also objective fact.
It's been measured. I used to have
to call Uverse on a daily basis on behalf of clients, and I do not miss that. Not one bit. All right. Was there anything else,
Matt?
I had my Plex thing, and I talked about it earlier in the show, and that's how useful that's been. So,
that's what I thought. All right. Well, hey, it's been a good chance to chat with you guys, but we are at the end of another week. Those of you out there, we will be back again next Wednesday, same time, 9 p.m. Central on Diamond Club TV. If you want to watch any past episodes, you can go out and find us on the YouTubes. Just search for the VOD Squad. And if you know anybody that has not subscribed, please have them do so. We want our vanity URL before someone takes it.
That'd be nice.
Yeah.
We're more than a third of the way there.
We are.
Nice.
We're getting there. It's only taken a year, but we're getting there.
Yes.
I know, right?
So 2 more years, we'll be there.
But
That's about
yeah,
two subscribers a month. That's all we ask.
that's okay.
We just got to get our subscriber count to match our episode count. That's like
So
my
one subscriber per episode once we hit the
Nice.
hit that nexus or
yeah.
yeah.
I would take that.
Yeah, sure. I'm
Good.
down for that. All right. Well, with that, I will bid y'all adieu. And thank you so much for joining us. We will see you next week.